Goon Squad on 1, 3, 2, 1, Goon Squad! Welcome in everybody, Fantasy Football Goon Squad here coming at you tonight. We're here tonight to talk about our busts, so let's get into it. Let's do it here. Gabe, let's start us off here with Kenny Golladay. What do we think?
All right, Kenny Golladay is a bust for me. I think he makes this list for the most part because his quarterback is Daniel Jones. I don't believe Daniel Jones can carry wide receiver one in any kind of offense. He proved that last year. He doesn't really help any wide receiver. Let's not forget to mention that Kenny has injuries and they linger. I think already this year he's listed as questionable, and that's not a good start. I think the offense is made for Saquon Barkley, or should be based around him, not the wide receiver one in the offense.
Yeah, Kenny's missed, I think, 2 weeks of camp already with that hamstring injury. It's still lingering right now, so...
It's interesting to know that Kenny he's never played a full season, not once. I mean, your wide receiver one, they want you to be there, and he's not there. He's never had over 70 receptions in a season.
Especially PPR.
Yeah, PPR, that's
huge.
That's huge compared to other wide receivers.
He's had 1,000-yard receiving yards in a season before, but the receptions, man, that really caps his upside, especially with those options down there in New York. You know, you talk about Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, who's missed time right now, Evan Ingram, Saquon.
Darius Slayton.
I think Golladay downgrading quarterback is also huge on his fantasy impact.
Yeah, without Matthew Stafford, Matthew Stafford airs out that ball, probably twice as much as Danny Jones will this year.
And based on Pro Football Talk, the Giants, they do have the second worst O-line, so that doesn't help the quarterback, which then in turn isn't going to help Kenny Golladay. Also, another one here is that target shares for last season, they had 280 pass attempts, 56% of the wide receiver one. So if I go back to 2019 here, Kenny's coming from an offense in Detroit, the target share was 330 pass attempts for over 60% of the targets going to wide receiver one in the wide receivers. Just in that point alone, his opportunities are dropping.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Let's talk about AJ Green, Gabe. What do you think? What are we thinking here?
Well, it's safe to say AJ Green isn't getting any younger. He's on the bad side of 30, and he goes to an offense with a surplus of mouths to feed from D-Hop, Christian Kirk. They drafted Rondell Moore. And they still have Andy Isabella. Yeah. Let's not forget the backs in the backfield. I think Edmonds is more valuable as a pass-catching back than an every down back.
Yeah.
I think that hurts him for sure.
Damien, any thoughts on AJ Green here?
Yeah, I think AJ Green's going to get the Larry Fitzgerald treatment last year as he will this year. So, AJ Green, I'm staying away from 100%.
Pulling up some ADP on AJ Green right here. So AJ Green getting drafted around Rashad Bateman, Rondell Moore, Nelson Aguilar, John Brown, and Brian Edwards. How do we feel about that right there?
I think I almost take almost every one of them.
So you take Rashad Bateman, Rondell Moore, Nelson Aguilar over AJ Green?
Yeah. 100%.
Nelson Aguilar, I think he's now going to be the number one in New England. I think Rondell Moore, he's in the same team. They drafted him that high for a reason. He's a youngster, shows speed.
Yeah, they're going to use that
really
speed.
Would you still feel the same way that if I told you Julio Jones was the same age?
I mean, Julio's a generational talent.
You don't think AJ Green is?
He was, but not.
See, I'm still on the AJ Green train here a little bit. I think he's a great red zone target. I think Joe Burrow. I think there's a stat out there that says he had uncatchable balls. It was like second highest to Jerry Jeudy. They just weren't on the same page all last year. I think AJ Green's still a great red zone target. 6'4", 220. I think he is. He's been an All-Pro for how many years? There still might be a little left in the tank, but hey, you never know.
Let me tell you this. AJ Green was probably the number one in Cincinnati throughout his whole career. He's now going to an offense where 42.67% of Kyler Murray's passes go to the number one wide receiver. And it's safe to say that's DeAndre Hopkins, not AJ Green.
For sure.
Now, if I take you the number two wide receiver, the target share in the offense for that is like 19%. 72 attempts out of 375 passes go to that number two.
Yeah.
Even if you put AJ Green at the number two, which he may not be, we'll have a mouse feed in that offense, he's getting that low of production just based on his quarterback play.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be. I think he's a bust this year.
How about that New England tight end room? We're going to talk both of them, Gabe. What do we think here?
I'm okay to talk both of them. I think we thought going into the season this was going to bring back vibes of Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. I think it's bringing more trouble. I think they picked up two tight ends that are injury prone. So far, they're already struggling through injuries. I'm not sure Hunter Henry might even play week one already. And Hunter Henry's downgrading. He's coming from Justin Herbert to, we're not sure yet. And then if it's Cam Newton, well, that's not good.
Yeah, well, I like Cam Newton. He likes his tight ends. I think when he was in Carolina, he had Greg Olsen. And Greg Olsen was definitely a top 5 fantasy tight end when Cam was healthy, younger age obviously too. So I'm going to agree with you on stay away from them because I don't think they're going to see it, but there could be some upside once they get the chemistry down there.
I think a lot of it has to do with the offensive scheme too. The Patriots' tight end target share last season was a mere 7.9%. Only 33 attempts to the tight end. I don't know if that's Josh McDaniels or if that's the way they ran it, but you got tight end Johnny Smith is coming from last season where the Titans' target share was 30% and the Chargers for Hunter Henry was over 22. And you're going to a team where it was only 8% and now you have 2 tight ends. I just think the opportunities are going to drop, and I'm staying away.
Especially when you talk about Cam Newton, I think that's the biggest downside of the Patriots offense. Cam Newton takes away so many red zone targets. He led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. It was insane efficiency. If Mac Jones starts, this could be a little different for us. We might have to adjust our ratings. But yeah, if Cam Newton starts, I'm fully with you, Gabe. I think the tight ends are a little bit of a stay away from. They are late round ADPs though, so we can't fault you if you do take them, but we would stay away. Next up on our bust list is Devin Singletary.
Single bust. That's what I call him. I'm not sure if he's in the number one running back in his room there. I got to give that to Zach Moss. I feel like every year Singletary has opportunities to be the number one guy, and every year he shows us on why he shouldn't be or may not be able to be. Last season, Zach Moss averaged 4.3 yards per carry with 0 turnovers and 4 touchdowns. Singletary is now he did have 4 yards per carry, I'll give him that, but he fumbled the ball away and only had 2 of the touchdowns. That tells you right there that the goal line work is already Zach Moss's. And I know you might want to say, okay, well, what about passing? Like passing the running back. The target share for the Buffalo Bills running backs is only 13% out of a team who threw the ball 573 times. The wide receivers in that team, 75%.
Not a lot of PPR.
Not very many at all. I'm staying away from that. I'd probably stay away from the whole backfield. But in a pinch, if I had to, I would go Zach Moss over Singletary.
Devin Singletary or Kenyon Drake?
I like Kenyon Drake better. I like his pass catching ability for PPR leagues.
Devin Singletary or David Johnson?
Singletary. I don't think Johnson's gonna have a job.
Devin Singletary or Gus Edwards?
Gus Edwards.
Devin Singletary or Jamal Williams?
Jamal Williams.
Gabe, anybody that you take Devin Singletary over
I
there?
agree with everything.
Kenyon
said
Drake,
there.
David Johnson, Gus Edwards.
I would
Jamal
take
Williams.
Singletary over Johnson because, like David said, I don't think David Johnson has a job here next week. But I would take Singletary over the other ones. Not over the other ones listed. I meant like the only one I would take is.
Yeah. No, just trying to give our listeners some late round draft advice here. You know, when we're talking about our bust compared to other late round guys.
I think if you're looking for, I don't even know if he's a running back 3, but if you're deep and you're looking for a running back, I'd rather have a great handcuff like Gus Edwards, Tony Pollard,
Yeah.
or before I'm taking Devin Singletary and planning to play him.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little too much risk for me, and I just don't see the reward.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I have it on another here, our other sleepers as the Steelers receivers. Kind of my personal bust here. I don't think that the Steeler offense is going to be bad per se. I just think that the Steelers receivers are being overdrafted compared to what Big Ben can do. Ben last year, we saw all the short game. We saw him stalling out with that OC. It just wasn't working. There was no run game. You know, we lose those O-linemen. We lose Villanueva. We lose Pouncey. We lose DeCastro. We bring in these young guys. I just don't know how it's going to mesh together. A new OC. Ben historically does not do well first year with new OCs. Ben is his own attitude. He's his own identity. He always tries to run the offense. You know, if we start doing this short passing stuff again, I just don't know where the value is for Chase Claypool or Juju. Deontay Johnson, I think, is a lock for 100 targets, but his efficiency is just crazy low. There hasn't been a receiver that's had over 120 targets both years, but has that low of efficiency. So it's just really hard with Deontay to draft them at their ADPs, which is... Go ahead, Gabe, you can say what you were going to say.
They do call him Deontay Dropson.
Yeah.
But I do agree with what you're saying. I think short intermediate routes, I think Deontay will get the targets there. And let's not forget they went and drafted Najee Harris in the first round. If that doesn't tell you the direction they're going, I don't know what does. They're going to run the ball. The volume's there.
Yeah, so they're all respectively in the 6th round. If you get these guys at the 8th round ADP, I think that's very fair value. They do talk about Deontay Johnson being a 5th round pick in a lot of leagues. So, Damien, any thoughts here?
I'm gonna have to agree with a lot of what you're saying. I don't see the offense being consistent this year. I think they're gonna put up points, but I just don't know at what cost though. You know, if they're there at the right price, I'm definitely gonna take one of them.
Deontay Johnson or Brandon Ayuk here?
Brandon Ayuk.
I like Deontay Johnson a
Okay.
little more than Ayuk.
Chase Claypool or Brandon Ayuk?
Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, I think Ayuk too. Deontay Johnson or DJ Moore?
DJ Moore.
Yep.
I would agree, yeah, for sure. Juju or T. Higgins?
T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I think he did enough to carve it. He might be the number one.
Here's
even
a
over
good
Chase
one.
Moore.
How about Robbie Anderson or any of the Steelers receivers?
That's.
I personally go Robbie Anderson.
I like Robbie Anderson. He got that big contract. They're definitely gonna try and feed him. So.
Yeah,
Even if you want to go Deontay Johnson.
I might
yeah.
take Deontay over Robbie
Fair enough,
Anderson,
yeah,
but
I
I'll
understand.
take Robbie over the other two.
I feel like they're almost like the
I
same
think
player.
for the I think
They're close to it.
I think DJ Moore might steal more of Robbie's thunder than I think that Claypool and Juju would steal
Sure.
Deontay's.
Understandable, yeah. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. That was an episode of The Bust. We got a mock draft coming at you tomorrow, hopefully. 5th pick. Thanks to Max Malice. You know, we love him. Just want to say thanks again for James for being an audio and video producer. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Drop a like, follow, share, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at FF Goon Squad. Thanks.
Appreciate the love.
Thank you.